Okay. So, good morning everyone. This is Dr. Swapnil Nalge, orthopedic surgeon, working as an assistant professor in Department of Orthopedics at Government Medical College, Surat. It's difficult times we are all passing through currently, and this is a new mode of teaching for us too. Completely vacant classes and just speaking. So, please bear with me. If any fallacies, please forgive me for that. So one thing is pretty sure, there's no one around me, so I would like to keep my mask off because it is a bit difficult to speak with the mask on. Yeah. So I'll start my lecture. The lecture is today on ligament injuries around the knee. So we all know that a knee as such is a weight-bearing joint of the lower limb, and it is one of the very important component for weight bearing. So any joint of the lower limbs as such are a bit more crucial than the upper limb because of the weight-bearing function they possess. So, I'll start. Knee joint, one of the most commonly injured joints as such. Weight-bearing and locomotion is a function. Remember, as an orthopedics, the first job of us is to give the patient back its mobility, right? All the functions or any kind of work they do or any profession they have, they will demand you few things. For example, if a software engineer who do not do anything, he will say, I am okay with my joint not functioning 100%. On the other hand, if there is a sports person who runs a marathon or plays professionally any sport, will demand you to have his knees or any joint in the body 100%. In fact, they would want to enhance their function more than 100%. Right? So, sports medicine, I would just like to introduce you, this is a new thing that has come up. It is not new as such outside India, but yet inside India, it's a quite new thing that has come. Sports medicine, it's a branch of orthopedics. In India, yes. Abroad, it's a completely different specialty you can consider. So, it's a branch of orthopedics which deals with preventing as well as treating all the injuries that occur in a sports personnel. That is athletes. Now, athletes, when you say the term athletes, right? So athletes can be of multiple types kind of. So for example, one of my friend only runs on Sundays. So would you like to consider him as an athlete? I don't know. I would rather call him as a weekend warrior. Achanak kisi ko bhagte hue dekh liya, today even I want to run. So Saturday, Sunday he runs. So of course he gets a lot of injuries because he just runs on Saturday and Sundays. Then there are some kind of people who are not professional athletes, but yes, they try and practice 4 or 5 times in a week, and they do take part in some competition just for fun. So these are second type of athletes. And the third type, which are professional athletes, whose bread and butter or living is depending upon sports. Right? So as such, we classify the athletes into 3 types. One are the professional athletes. Right? In them, you have to be very, very careful while approaching them for treatment or for prevention or for any kind of injuries, right? Because their complete life is dependent on this injuries, the prevention of these injuries, right? Second one is amateur athlete. I told you, they're just 4 to 5 times they'll run in a week. They go to gym 4 to 5 times. They do take part competition in some like community competition kind of stuff. But they are not professional. They have some other profession to do as well. And the last one is recreational, weekend warriors. Saturday, Sundays, sometimes in a blue moon, so they are recreational. Now if you see, the topmost guys, the professional, are high demanding. Amateur athletes, I want to work out, I want to do some kind of sports, it disturbs my routine, so please doctor make me normal as much as possible. Recreational, I'm okay. But I want to go out with my friends on Sunday for a cycling. I just want to go out with friends on a walk. So please make me better. So if you see in today's world, the demands from the patient in these injuries have increased. Earlier it was okay. It's okay. I have a desktop job. I just sit. But now everyone is health conscious and everyone wants to work out. So athletes, you cannot take any of them lightly. Agreed, the most demanding one are the professional ones. So ligament injuries around the knee, they all provide stability to the knee as well as proprioception. Now what is stability? The word stability means Whenever you are putting weight on it, you are running, you are walking, you are squatting, or whatever, any function you are doing, the bones are kept in their position by these ligaments, right? So any kind of malfunctioning of these ligaments will make your bones to go haywire. It will subluxate anteroposteriorly, it will subluxate mediolaterally, and that will hamper your function because the weight-bearing axis or lower limb has to pass from the center of hip to the center of ankle, and in this process it passes to the center of knee. Any malalignment in this axis will be not tolerated by the patient and may cause arthritis of the knee. So it is very important for us to maintain this alignment, and one of the important factors giving this alignment or maintaining this alignment is this ligaments. The second word I have mentioned is proprioception. Proprioception means joint position and joint sense. For example, if I am playing badminton, if my left leg is doing lunges and going to hit a racket, I am playing with my left hand, my right hand is not stable. It is kind of trying to maintain stability. So all this is proprioception. My opposite knee is also extending, right? So that knee ligaments are trying to maintain my body position or balance. So these proprioceptors are located in these ligaments. So what are the ligaments? Let's see. So this is an anteroposterior view of the knee. If you see properly, this is the anterior cruciate ligament. I have marked it anterior cruciate ligament. You can see behind the posterior cruciate ligament in the notch. Now if you see properly, the anterior cruciate ligament is attached to the medial aspect of lateral condyle femur. I know it's all there in anatomy, but just refresh everything. It is easy for you to understand if your anatomy is a bit fresh. So if you see properly, you see the fibula is on the lateral side. So this is the lateral condyle of the femur. So it arises from the medial aspect of lateral condyle of femur. It goes and attaches on the tibia anteriorly. That is the reason it is called anterior cruciate ligament. Why cruciate? Cruciate means cross. Cruciate means cross. So if you see this knee on the lateral aspect, you see these ligaments are crisscross. So the one ligament that is going anteriorly on the tibia will be called as anterior cruciate ligament, while the ligament that arises from the lateral aspect of medial femoral condyle. Here, lateral aspect of medial femoral condyle is your posterior cruciate ligament, and you see that ligament is going posteriorly and getting attached on the posterior aspect of tibial plateau. So that is your posterior cruciate ligament. So ligament that is anterior on the tibia is known as anterior cruciate ligament. Ligament that is posterior on tibia is known as posterior cruciate ligament. Functions we'll see. We'll do one by one each of them. I have only 30 slides, so we have ample of time. Don't worry. Just listen to me carefully. So one is anterior cruciate ligament. Other one is posterior cruciate ligament. The third one is medial collateral ligament. So these cruciate ligaments held your knee in such a way that the ligament or the knee joint won't go anteroposteriorly haywire. Can I say these ligaments are responsible for providing stability to the knee anteroposteriorly, or can I say these ligaments are responsible for giving stability to the knee in this plane, or can I say the sagittal plane? Right? So the sagittal plane stability is given by anterior cruciate ligament, posterior cruciate ligament. So similarly, there are two ligaments on either side of the knee joint that provide the stability mediolateral, or can I say in coronal plane, right? So the ligament that is on the medial side is known as medial collateral ligament, and the ligament on the lateral side is known as the lateral collateral ligament. Now, if you just notice here, the lateral collateral ligament is attached to the lateral epicondyle of the femur, and it goes down and inserts on the head of fibula. Right? I'm going to revise this everything again back when I go into detail of each of them. And if you see the medial collateral ligament, it attaches from the medial epicondyle of femur, goes down and attaches onto the medial aspect of the tibia 6 to 7 centimeters below the knee joint. Right? So these are your ligaments. One is ACL, PCL. Now I like to say anterior cruciate and posterior cruciate ligament as ACL and PCL. And your medial and lateral collateral ligament, I will say MCL and LCL. So one thing get into your head from this slide, anterior and posterior cruciate ligaments provide stability in sagittal plane or antero-posterior stability, whereas MCL and LCL provide stability mediolaterally, or can I say stability in the coronal plane, right? So we go ahead. This is just to show how the posterior cruciate ligament is attached posteriorly onto the tibia. This is the posterior view of the knee joint. If you see the posterior cruciate ligament going down below, even below the tibial plateau, and attaching on the posterior aspect of the tibia. And you can see this, it is crisscrossing. You see this ACL, PCL, it is crisscrossing over here. So let's freshen our past. I think this diagram must have been done by everyone when we were in first year, And I think there was a mnemonic when we used to do this. We used to remember it as, आगे से पीछे याद रखने का, Medical College, Lucknow Medical College. Yes, you almost have done this. So you see on the left side of mine is the medial meniscus, the C-shaped thing. And the right side of mine is the more of a circular thing that is known as the lateral meniscus. So the medial meniscus anterior horn comes first, followed by the cruciate ligament, followed by the anterior horn of your lateral meniscus. So we used to remember it as Medical College Lucknow. So MCL, that way. And going behind, then Medical College Lucknow Medical College. So L again is the posterior horn of your lateral meniscus, followed by the posterior cruciate ligament, and followed by your meniscus again, medial meniscus, posterior horn. This ligament is important as such because it gives you idea where your ACL and PCL are attached. So by this diagram, can I say that the anterior cruciate ligament onto the tibia is attached between the anterior horn of medial and lateral meniscus? Yes, it's very evident. Well, while as the the posterior cruciate ligament is way behind onto the tibial plateau. So just this diagram gives me a very good idea where is the exact location of the meniscus and the ligaments onto the tibial plateau from anterior to posterior. Arthroscopy. Now I just introduce what is sports medicine. I'll also like to introduce you what is arthroscopy. Now this is a specialty actually. It's a subspecialty of orthopedics that developed, in which we try to, it's a minimal invasive surgery. We don't want to operate the knee joint by opening it completely as it increases the morbidity and kind of trauma to the patient. Itna bada operation. So these are kind of a surgeries we do in which we just make a keyhole, introduce our camera from one side and the instruments from the other side, and we try to reconstruct or repair or operate whatever kind of pathology is there in the joint. It's a new branch that has come up skillfully. It's difficult. It's very damn interesting because, sports or the health, lifestyle concern have increased everywhere in the society. So yes, it's one of the very upcoming branches in orthopedics. And this is one of the views you see in arthroscopy. There's a camera inside the knee joint and you can see your cruciate ligaments. What you see, the round shaped structure is the femoral notch. You see, this is the condyle I can see. This is the femoral notch you can see. And I have marked what is the ACL. And the AL and PM is nothing but the two bundles of posterior cruciate ligament. You see, ACL aage hai, PCL is going behind. So this is your anterior and posterior cruciate ligaments. Now I'll go into one by one. Their anatomy, their mechanism of injury, their investigations, what you do, what are the special tests for them, and then I'll discuss about treatment of each of these ligaments. So anterior cruciate ligaments, there are two bundles. I don't think it's very important for you, but just for interest, there are two bundles that arise from the medial aspect of lateral femoral condyle. This is the diagram I have taken. In this I have cut the femur into half. And this is a lateral view. Mind you, this is a lateral view. You're seeing the knee not like this, you're seeing it from like this. Right? And you're seeing the half of the femur has been cut and only the lateral condyle of femur is seen by you. Right? So it arises from medial aspect of the lateral femoral condyle and inserts on the tibial plateau anteriorly. Now, this is known as a ribbon concept. These are not two separate bundles, but they act like ribbons on each other, like this. They'll just rotate around each other. So when you are flexing, one of these bundle may become tight, and when you are extending, the other bundle gets tight. So in that manner, you can have stability even when your knee is extended. You can have stability even when you have your leg or knee flexed. That way this is created. It resists the anterior translation of tibia on femur. Mind you, it is called anterior cruciate ligament because it inserts anterior on the tibia, but the function of your ACL is to prevent anterior translation of tibia on femur. Mind you, it is not the opposite. It is not a femur on tibia, it prevents the translation of tibia. If this is the tibia, this is the femur. So the anterior translation of tibia on femur is prevented by your ACL. So it is responsible for antero-posterior stability. Yes, we said ACL and PCL are responsible for antero-posterior stability. But the one more word I'd just like to add for ACL, it is very important for rotational stability as such. So when you are rotating also, this ACL, PCL are functioning and preventing your translation of tibia on femur. ACL. How it is it injured? It may be injured because direct blow to the flexed knee. If you see the athlete here, the left leg is bended and is going to bang his knee onto the ground. So of course the tibia would just have a harsh blow posteriorly and the femur will go onto the ground. In this way you can have injury to either the ACL or PCL or even both. This is the most common mode of injury. Now football players, if anyone plays football, you must be knowing this very well. When you are trying to hit the ball off the ground sometime or running sometimes and your foot gets stuck onto the ground. And when your foot is stuck onto the ground, and your femur or your upper part of the thigh just rotates outwards like this and the tibia rotates internally. So this is known as pivoting. The tibia and femur are pivoting on each other. So this kind of pivoting can also cause injury to your anterior cruciate ligament. In fact, this is one of the most common injuries. And I'll tell you, abroad, the maximum cases of ACL you get in soccer players. It is because of this kind of mode of trauma they have. Even in India, I have seen bowlers getting it. Because bowlers, what they happen, they practice and the bowling pitch, in fact, has a small dent in it. And then there's foot for example, if a right-hand bowler, my left foot gets stuck into the ground and then he tries to bowl this fixed foot can just twist around and get the ligament injury. It is very common in football and basketball players. In India, I'll tell you, we get maximum patients who are amateur or recreational athletes. Professional athletes, yes, but the conditioning and the preventive mechanism is very well taught to them. So we do have, and we don't play in India a lot of contact sports as such, like rugby or football or basketball. It's like cricket. Cricket is a very chilled out game as such, but yes, the bowlers get it. Maybe associated with other ligament injuries. Now, this is one of the things which we see recently because of harsh sports that are played. Some people, or because of road traffic accidents in India, some people get ligament injuries multiple. Like, you will have ACL, PCL injury, or ACL, PCL, MCL injury. In some patients, in fact, you will have ACL, PC, MCL, LCL. Everything is gone. So, this kind of injuries are, India is more commonly seen in road traffic accidents. Bikes. Yeah, it is more commonly seen in females than in males. It is mainly because of the excess of laxity that is present in the female because of the hormonal issues. But practically, more males are involved in India. More males are involved in sports. So we see more male patients as such over here. Anterior cruciate ligament. How will the patient come to you once he has ACL injury? Now we know the football players, if the foot is stuck and they just rotate around or pivot and they fall, they'll get this. But how will the patient come to you? He will come, doctor, I have pain, I have swelling in this joint, knee joint. This knee joint is not allowing me to walk, and I had a fall 2 weeks back when I was playing weekend pay football with my friends. I was about to kick the ball and my foot got stuck on the ground, and as soon as I hit the ball, I just felt a click or a pop in the knee joint. He'll give that history, just kick or a pop. This click or pop is mainly because of your cruciate ligament was torn and your bones were subluxated. That subluxation exactly gives you this pop or a click. So there is pain, swelling, tenderness. There is a classical history of pop or click in the knee. And the third thing, if the patient comes a bit later, he will complain of instability. Instability in the form, he will say, doctor, I was absolutely fine few days back. I played football. Since then, my knee is not 100%. I tried to climb stairs, up or down. I feel like I will fall. Doctor, I was playing badminton 2 weeks back. I was absolutely fine. But now, yesterday I played badminton. While hitting the shuttle, I felt like I'll fall off. While doing the lunges, I felt like I'll fall off. So this classical history is history of instability. That means the knee joint is not maintaining its position properly because some of the ligament has been fired. So this is a diagram that shows how the ACL has been injured, and there may be decreased range of motion. Clinical test. Now, this is something which is commonly asked to you in practical exams as well as in theory exams. What are the tests you would like to do if you suspect an ACL injury? Now, this is a Lachman test. Lachman said, you just give 30-degree flexion to the knee, pull the tibia anteriorly and push the femur posteriorly. So, for example, I am holding a patient. This is a femur, this is a tibia. I am taking the tibia out from the joint. So when I'm pulling that, in normal of individuals like us, we don't feel any tibia coming anteriorly out of the knee joint. But when his ACL is injured, you feel the tibia is coming anteriorly, outside. So this is your Lachman test. Now, Lachman test is not positive in everyone. It is difficult to elicit. The patient is very heavy and you are a very weak doctor. Of course, you can't lift the patient's leg and entire tibia. So this is an anterior draw test in which you have to flex the knee to 90 degree, stabilize the foot by an assistant, or you sit on that foot. I'm sorry it's not shown in this diagram, but you have to stabilize the ankle. The ankle should not move. And then you hold the tibia with both your hands around circumferentially such that your thumbs are on the tibial tuberosity. And then you pull the tibia anteriorly. So when you pull the tibia anteriorly, you can feel the tibia coming outside the knee joint. That is diagnostic of your anterior cruciate ligament injury. Now there is a question commonly asked in this test. Which test you will do when the patient comes to you in acute phase? What is acute phase? Matlab, yesterday he had a trauma and today he came to you. Now, in acute phase, this patient won't be able to flex his knee to 90 degrees. So in acute phase, because of pain, because of swelling, because of tenderness, so in acute phase, the only test that is possible is Lachman test because only 30-degree flexion is required. While after 2 weeks, when the patient swelling, tenderness, redness, everything has gone away, you can do the flexion to 90 degree and at that time, you'll get this anterior draw test positive. Mind you, this ligament injury is not an emergency. You have to manage the patient coolly. I'll tell you how the management proceeds, but it is not an emergency. Do not hurry to do the test on first day itself. Why you are not flexing the knee? I want to do it right now. It is not possible. It will be extremely painful to the patient. Investigations. Now you saw the history, you feel it is ACL, you examine the Lachman or anterior draw test is positive. What are the investigations you like to do? X-rays. Normally X-rays do not show anything, right? So you'll see an X-ray, it's absolutely normal. But sometimes what happens is this cruciate ligament, rather than tearing within the substance, will be avulsed. Now what is avulsion and what is a tear? There's a difference between both of them. When the ligament comes out from the bone, along with a piece of bone, we call it as avulsion. Whereas, where the ligament is torn within the substance, we call it as tear. I'm sorry. So, when there is a bony avulsion, as in this case, you can see there is a small bony chip from the tip of the tibia. So that can be seen on X-ray. Otherwise, there is nothing that is seen on X-ray in an anticruciate ligament, pure tear. This is the diagnostic test. For confirming your clinical diagnosis, you need to get an MRI. And in MRI, we commonly look at the sagittal view. Look at the sagittal view, the first image is a normal image. You see the ACL nicely going up, black color. And you see there is one ligament going like this, the yellow and the red line, and you see one more ligament पीछे से ऐसे जा रही है. That black ligament is your posterior cruciate ligament. So in the right-sided figure, you see, okay, when I do this, I think I am doing opposite. Okay, fine. So in the image, the other one image, you see the yellow arrow that has been shown. That is showing you the anterior cruciate ligament that has torn from the femoral side. It has made, it's a substance tear. It is not a bony avulsion proper. So once you have done the investigation, now you know clinically as well as radiologically on confirmation this is anterocruciate ligament tear and the patient wants his knee to be 100% because he is an athlete or he does weekends play marathon or cycling. Then what is the management? Management. In acute phase, this is the management. RICE. Now what does the RICE stand for? The R stands for rest. The I stands for ice application. Mind you, no hot fermentation in acute phase. It is always ice application when there is an acute injury to any part of body. Third thing is compression. Compression can be done by a brace or a splint or a crepe bandage or a tight simple bandage, anything. But it should not be too tight to cause compartment syndrome. It should be a bit tighter but not extremely tight to entire your strength. Don't apply your strength to the patient. And the last one is elevation. Elevation is to avoid excess of collection in the knee joint. So you see this diagram, everything has been done correctly. There is rest given, there is ice application, there is compression, crepe bandage, and you see it has been elevated. It should be elevated above the heart level to prevent further swelling. So what is the management? So once you give RICE therapy for 2 weeks to the patient, now the patient is extremely stable and now the patient comes to you, come on doctor, I'm ready for your treatment. So surgical management, it is not needed in everyone. If it is a desktop professional guy, I just do my desktop job and I'm okay with my cruciate one ligament, only ACL is fired, it's okay doctor, I can live with it. You can live with it. Whenever I'm going for a cycling or I'll wear my belt and I'll do the cycling and it's okay with me. So, and there are something known as copers. Some individual who cope up without an ACL because their other muscles and ligaments are stronger. So in these kind of patients you can leave. I'll give you one example, a very good example in which anterocruciate ligament was torn, but he played his entire sports with it. Yuvraj Singh. He has his anterocruciate ligament that is torn, but he played extremely well cricket along with that. Now these individuals, because they are trained right from their childhood, the muscle, the other ligament strength is excellent. So they do without it also. But if there is a frank instability, they complain of, doctor, I can't maintain my knee in one position. Whenever I'm doing up and down of the stairs, whenever I'm exercising, I'm playing, I feel something is wrong with my knee, then you should operate. Now the surgery in this is ACL reconstruction. Why reconstruction and not repair? Repair is we keep the normal ligament and we just take sutures. Now this repair is in research. It's still in research whether it is 100% effective or not. Why the repair is not effective? The main problem is that these collagen fibers do not have that good vascularity. So because of less vascularity, the healing power is less. So the repair, many of the time it fails, but yes, there is a recent vogue into research for repairing this ACL ligament. But currently, the main line of treatment for ACL tear is ACL reconstruction, in which new ACL ligament is made by taking your hamstring tendons, semitendinosus and gracilis, or you can take patellar tendon, or you can take quadriceps tendon, you can take tendo Achilles, you can take peroneus longus. There are multiple tendon options available in the body. Also, there are allografts that are available. In India, there are limitations for availability of allograft, but abroad now hardly ever they use autologous graft. They usually use allografts. India, cost is the issue, importation is the issue. So this is the surgery of ACL reconstruction. That is, it is completely done by arthroscopy. And you see, this is the surgery that has been done. The ligament has been passed from the normal position of ACL, where there was a footprint on the tibia as well as where it was attached on the femoral. Same tunnel we make, same location we make tunnels. Pass the graft, and the graft is tied on the femur as well as on the tibia with some screws or some buttons. This is a surgery commonly done. ACL repair, as I told you, it is under study for its efficacy. We don't know, but yeah, 2 to 3 years later, I think it will be one of the major breakthrough in sports medicine. And nowadays, many people, in fact, they do ACL reconstruction, but they keep the old ACL tone part intact. The reason behind that is, they say that the ACL that was torn, though it is torn, it is not giving stability to the knee. But yes, it still has that proprioceptors, which is very important for maintaining your joint position and joint sense. So this is just a slide about ACL avulsion. Mind you, if there is a bony avulsion, we do not reconstruct. We usually fix it with a screw or a suture bridge technique. Don't go into detail of this, but you should know there is a difference between avulsion and tear. Let's start with the other big ligament. I hope you all are understanding. I don't know the response because it's a vacant class. I'm alone in this entire hall, so quite new for me too. But I don't know what the future holds. But I think this online teaching and e-learning will be a bigger aspect of our education after this COVID days, because I think it reaches to a large people and it makes easy for many of them. Traveling and all stuff is decreased. So, don't know, but we should be ready for it. But the fun of having people in front of you to listen is completely different, right? It is like a footballer or a cricketer playing in an empty stadium. So, posterior cruciate ligament. This is one of the strongest ligament in the body, in fact. It is one of the strongest ligaments in knee, but it's even in the body, it's one of the strongest ligaments. Very rarely will you see a posterior cruciate ligament. I normally get it around 5 to 6 in a year. It is that less as such. Arises from the lateral aspect. Now this is, I have shown diagram both of them. I have shown the anteroposterior view as well as the lateral view. So anteroposterior view, you see it arises from the lateral aspect of medial femoral condyle and inserts on the posterior aspect of tibial sulcus below the tibial plateau. Now you see the lateral view. See how it is going behind the tibia. It is said that tibial plateau ends and around 2 cm below the tibial plateau, this PCL is attached. Resists posterior translation of tibia on femur. Now ACL resists anterior translation of tibia on femur, whereas PCL resists posterior translation of tibia on femur. So let's just do it. For example, I'm standing like this. So this is my tibia, okay, this tibia, this is my femur, right? So anterior translation of tibia on femur is by ACL, whereas posterior translation of tibia on femur is prevented by your PCL. So again, this is one of the ligaments that is responsible for anteroposterior stability, but mind you, ACL not only anteroposterior, also rotational stability. So PCL. How it is injured? It may be injured by direct blow to the proximal tibia with a flexed knee. This is known as dashboard injury. You see this guy sitting in a car and suddenly the car is hit in the front. Tibia, because you have flexed knee in the car seat, the tibia goes behind and this might injure your PCL. Very common in dashboard injuries, PCL injuries. Or it may be also seen in contact sport or non-contact sports because of your sudden and acute blow. Well, this is commonly seen in rugby, soccer players. And in India, it is commonly seen also because of road traffic accidents, especially bike. The motorcycles, what we use, are very culprit as such for causing this ligament injuries to the knee. Hyperextension injury. So how this patient will come to you? Same as your ACL. The patient will come with, I heard a pop or a click when I had a fall from the bike, my Activa suddenly lost balance and I fall off and I have this click or a pop heard. Then I also got swelling, tenderness and I have pain, I have decreased range of motion. But everything will be, the patient will be pointing behind. In this case, the patient will be saying, I have everything piche, popliteal fossa ke yahan pe something is not correct. And these people will, after a few days, once they start walking without PCL ligament, they'll also complain of instability. Like I walk, but there is something wrong in my knee. Now they can't differentiate between anterior cruciate and posterior cruciate ligament. But mind you, most of the anterior cruciate ligament people, when they're walking down the stairs, they'll feel kuch to galat hai joint ke sath. While as the PCL people will complain, I don't feel good while going up the stairs. There is a mechanics behind it. It's less time for discussing everything. But mind you, ACL people don't like coming down the stairs and PCL people don't like climbing up the stairs. Now, because your PCL is gone, your tibia now goes behind. Your tibia now falls posteriorly. Because this tibia falls posteriorly, there is a sign known as posterior sag sign. If you see, you keep both the knees, hip and knee flexed at 90 degree and you watch from the side, you can see एक का tibia पीछे पड़ा है, दूसरा का tibia बराबर है. You see that in the diagram? So this is known as posterior sag of tibia, also known as posterior sag sign. Posterior draw, similar to your anterior draw, flex your hip and knee to 90 degrees, sit on the ankle or stabilize the ankle with the assistant. Now push your tibia posteriorly. Now if you push the tibia posteriorly, you can see normal knee. Mind you, whenever you are checking ligaments of the knee, always make a habit of checking the normal leg first, because that will give you an idea okay, what is normal in this patient. So when you try to push the tibia posterior normal side, it is not going behind. When you check on the knee which has been injured and you try to push the tibia posteriorly, it will go behind, and that will give an idea that it is torn, or otherwise it is lax or unstable knee joint. So investigations again the same ACL, PCL, the investigation almost the same. The only thing is in this you commonly do stress views. What are stress views? You get an X-ray, right? Always do comparison X-rays. You get right, left, both X-rays. Compare, push. What are stress? Stress means you push the tibia behind while doing an X-ray. If you see properly, एक side पे your tibia and your femur are in one line. But when on the other side where there is PCL injury, when you push the tibia goes behind, and that can be made by these lines you draw from the posterior most aspect of tibial plateau. So these are known as stress views. Stress views are difficult to do, but yes, they give a very good idea. And if you are not comfortable, or the patient is having pain in doing stress views, or you feel that you might get exposed to the radiations because you have to do the stress while the X-rays have been shooting. So you get an MRI. So in MRI you can see now the ligament, the jet black colored ligament behind. This is a sagittal view. The upper bone is the femur and the lower bone is tibia. You see the ligament that is going onto the tibia is torn. So this is the PCL tear. Management, same. Acute phase, it is RISE therapy. Rest, ice application, compression, elevation. Rest for 2 weeks, come back to me. I'll again check your posterior drawer test, or I'll get an MR after 2 weeks. Always never get an MRI. Two things. Never hurry in any ligament injury to intervene as fast as possible. Take at least 5 to 7 days. Let the swelling tenderness come down. Then examine properly for anterior posterior drawer test. And once you examine and the patient is very much happy and stable, get an MRI done. Why I'm telling you? Because in initial phases when you get an MRI in acute phase, there is lot of edema and swelling. And this edema and swelling actually makes it is very difficult to see your ligaments with this edema and swelling on an MRI. So once the edema or swelling subsides, you should better get done an MRI. Surgical management is in the form of PCL reconstruction. The only thing is the position of tunnel making is different in this. And we again reconstruct it with allografts or autografts. Allograft availability in India is very rare, it's difficult, it is to be imported, the cost is a factor. So this is about ACL and PCL reconstruction. Mind you, an individual who is not very active can live without ACL, but doing without PCL is really difficult. He will come to you for surgery because he will never be happy with PCL deficient knee. Now again, similar concept, as in ACL, even PCL has bony avulsion, and in case of bony avulsion of PCL, we fix it again with a screw or a suture bridge. You can see the screw we have inserted from posteriorly. Now this bony avulsion surgeries can be done by open procedure or arthroscopic procedure depending upon the skill of the surgeon. Now we have done two ligaments up till now. One was the anterior cruciate ligament, other one is posterior cruciate ligament. Now we come to the other ligaments, anterior posterior cruciate ligaments for your anteroposterior stability. Now we come to the MCL, LCL, that is your mediolateral stability. So MCL is primary, it is a restraint to valgus stress. Now what is valgus, what is varus, right? So I don't know how I can show my knee, but when your knee, say, leg goes outside like this, outside, then this is known as valgus. And when your knee, say leg goes inside, it is known as varus. So outside is valgus, inside is varus. Right? So if I take my knee outside, or I hold my leg and take it outside, medially the ligament that becomes tight is your medial collateral ligament. So it is one of the restraint to valgus stress. On the other hand, lateral collateral is a restraint to your varus stress. MCL consists of superficial and deep components. It is known as superficial MCL and deep MCL. Superficial MCL is attached very near to the tibial plateau, whereas deep MCL goes 6 cm below the joint line. Both of them are extremely important for maintaining your stability on the medial aspect of joint. Now, why I have shown this diagram? Because medial aspect, it is not only MCL. We have two more ligaments known as posterior oblique ligament as well as semimembranosus complex that gives stability. So, together we call it as medial complex of the knee joint. Right? So, it is not as such academically important for you, but you should know there is not independent MCL. There are other ligaments also which help MCL to maintain the stability on the medial side of the knee joint. Now, usually associated, MCL is hardly ever torn independently, It is usually associated with ACL or PCL injuries. And the patient may present with pain, swelling, tenderness on the medial aspect of knee joint with instability. Now, instability will be in this patient, the patient will say, when I walk, my knee suddenly goes in valgus because medial support knee, So, when I am walking, the knee goes into valgus like this because the medial stability is lost. Clinical diagnosis is by the valgus stress test. Now, if you see this doctor sitting and holding the calf and giving the lateral support to the femur and taking the leg outside. And when he takes outside, the joint on the medial side will open. This is known as valgus stress test of the knee and is diagnostic for your medial collateral ligament injury. Stress X-ray similar to your PCL. Now, in this we do a valgus stress and we take an X-ray. More than 4 mm opening compared to the normal side is considered to be pathological. And if you don't want to get an X-ray, stress X-rays done, it is easy to get an MRI done. You see MRI, the black jet ligament is injured from the tibial aspect. So, this is your MCL injury. Management, conservative in the most cases because MCL has a very, very, very good healing power. Usually it heals on its own beautifully. So hardly ever we really need to intervene to really repair MCL. But yes, in multi-ligament injuries, we try to repair it as early as possible. So surgical management, if the patient comes to me very early and I feel it's a big injury, I will repair. Give me a second, he's changing the battery. Start. Start? Okay. So, if the patient comes to me early and if I feel it's a very grave kind of injury, I would like to repair it. Repair it with good quality, high strength sutures like fiber wire. I do use suture anchors. Suture anchors are a kind of implant in which the screws go inside the bone and there are threads coming out with which you can tie the ligament. And in case the repair fails, after 4 to 6 weeks, we go for reconstruction. You can see this diagram in which the medial collateral ligament has been reconstructed by using a graft. Now, reconstruction can be done by your autologous or allograft, whatever you get, or options you have. Lateral collateral ligament. This is the last ligament we will study today. So, this arises from the lateral epicondyle of the femur and aspects on and inserts on the fibular head. Now, as I said, in the medial collateral ligament complex, even lateral collateral ligament, there is a big complex. It is not alone. It is supported by other ligaments, such as like popliteus tendon, popliteofibular ligament, as well as anterolateral ligament, ALL. But what you guys need to know is LCL, or you just call it a lateral complex of the knee. So, it arises from lateral epicondyle, inserts on the fibular head. it is primary restraint to varus stress to knee. So varus is prevented excessively by your lateral collateral ligament. This do not have that good healing potential as compared to MCL. So mind you, when a patient comes to me with MCL injury, I am happy, it's okay, I think you can do well. Apply a brace for 4 weeks, you will be fine. But a patient comes with lateral collateral ligament, I always tell him, listen, I will give a try, it might heal, but majority of chances it won't heal and I have to intervene or I have to operate on you. So commonly injured in athletes on excessive of varus stress, may be associated with other ligaments and posterolateral. Posterolateral corner is the lateral complex I told you about the knee. So patient presents same, pain, swelling, tenderness on lateral aspect of the knee joint with instability, varus stress test. See now this is a diagram which I have taken. You see the A part. In A part, we are taking the leg medially. You see the fibula laterally. So I am taking the leg medially. So the ligament that is opening or that is injured is the lateral collateral ligament. Whereas you take the B part, I am taking the leg laterally. So the ligament that is injured is your medial collateral ligament. So there is a difference, or varus and valgus are different. I'll repeat again if there is confusion. You check the diagram A, I am taking the leg medially or towards the tibial side, medially. This stress is known as varus stress. In varus stress, what ligament will open will be the lateral collateral ligament. Whereas in diagram B, I am taking the leg towards fibula, or can I say laterally. This stress is known as valgus stress, and the ligament that will open in these cases will be the medial collateral ligament. Investigations, again, you can do a stress X-ray similar to your PCL, similar to your MCL or LCL. Otherwise, get an MRI done, it will be diagnostic. You see this MRI is seen from posterior. You see the head of fibula, on top of it there is some white shadow that is seen, and the black ligament that has been torn. So this is a tear of your fibular collateral ligament. Lateral collateral ligament itself is known as fibular collateral ligament. So management, conservative should be attempted for 4 weeks in a knee brace or whatever support or cast you can give. Surgical management is required in most of them. Acute cases, again, same like MCL. If the patient comes to me early, there is multi-ligament injury, I would do a repair. In late cases, I would go with reconstruction, either with the help of autograft or an allograft. And this is one of the diagrams that shows reconstruction. You see that the ligament has been passed from the head of the fibula and attached to the medial epicondyle by 2 tunnels. So this is the end of my topic. Thanks for listening, I don't know, patiently or what, but it was very calm with no people inside the room. And hope for the best. We will be off COVID and off all the problems as early as possible, and we will be back to normal. Thank you.